I hope you're enjoying the book. I am. We're halfway through nearly. This is going to be chapter 24. I don't know how long the chapter is. It's quite a short one, so I might be able to manage it in 15 or 20 minutes. Yesterday's was really long. Chapter 24. It is a song. Mary says, puzzled by our astonished expressions, because they were singing. Just look back and listen to the song. But it's about the housekeeper, and Maeve and Rory relate this back to their housekeeper card. Okay, so just clear this for anybody that's just come in. It's a country song. Did you hear us talking about that, Mum? The housekeeper card? I don't know. I was only half paying attention. Fifi, I must have. Where did you learn it? America? We learned all kinds of songs when we were over there. This is why I keep saying the music is better than plays. Nay. In other words, no. There's an exchange. You learn more about the world. Could you write down the lyrics, Marie? I asked, trying to stop the conversation developing into a debate about performing arts. She furrows her brow. I don't know, Pet. It's been so long. I think I just remember the chorus. Anyways, Fiona, your daddy will be home in a minute. Set the table, will you? What about after dinner, Mum? Do you think you could sit down with a pen and paper and try to remember the rest? Excuse me. Marie looks at her daughter slyly. If I didn't have to clean up, maybe. I'll clean, but you'll sit down. You'll write it up for me? I'm sorry, I've been reading too much today. I'll try, Fifi, but later. Now stop crowding me. Rose and I leave our minds blogging. Rue and I leave our minds blogging. I can't believe it, he says. We thought this was some mystical, magical thing, but it's a song, a frickin' song. I mean, it could be both. What were the lyrics again? She can be your downfall, or she can be your start. Where does that leave Lily? How do you mean? Well, is this her downfall, or is it her start? The idea lightens us for a moment. The notion that Lily could be not just surviving, but thriving, starting again somewhere. Better just without us. Now, I googled the word housekeeper, and apparently it does exist. Also, other cards have other names, like the Hierophant is also known as the High Priest or the Lord, depending what type of tarot deck it is. So the housekeeper, according to Google, was the Queen of Pentacles, but I see the housekeeper also as the Empress, because these two are the Mother Earth cards, the Queen of Pentacles and the Empress. Okay, getting back to the book. Do you really have to go home for dinner? What? Oh no, I was just saying that my mum has late tutorials on Mondays, so it's very much a grab and go situation. Do you want to head back to the river? He says it nervously, as though asking if I wanted to have a sneaky cigarette by some bike sheds. If you want to, but do you think we should? I don't know. Talk about what I saw in your bedroom. Oh, that. Rue tugs at his hair again, twisting the dark curls into his fist. He doesn't say anything for a while. We don't have to, I say, my palms up. It's not trying to out you or anything, but if you want to. He hides his chin in his zipped up collar of his jacket for a moment, and I assume the subject is closed. Suddenly he speaks. When my parents found out that I was bisexual, I don't know. Sure, bisexual is fine, I suppose. It makes me feel a bit like a specimen, but whatever. I briefly imagined this beautiful boy in nail varnish, hidden jewellery and channel number 5, pinned and framed like a dead butterfly. But that day was something I had agonized after for months. Before Lily went missing, that was like the worst day of my life. And afterwards, after you made me relive it, I don't know. It didn't feel like this big burden anymore. I had this weird feeling of clarity, like I finally got how dumb my parents were being with me that day. A problem shared is a problem halved. Well, the saying that I know is a problem shared is a problem aired, and makes the load lighter. That kind of thing. I guess, he says, sounding unconvinced. He kicks at the stone. What happened that day? I asked. The day your parents found stuff on your computer. What do you think happened? I open my mouth, ready with an answer. Gay porn, but am completely unable to say it. He looks at my face and bursts out laughing. You look like a fish, he says, relaxed. My dad was using my laptop and my tests were snitched to the laptop. Synced to the laptop, and there were some messages coming through from a friend. A friend? Yeah, someone in the band. They were talking about coming out to their parents, asking me if I had any plans to do so sometime, which ironically became coming out to my parents. Oh shit, I bet your friend was kicking himself or themselves. What? They? Meal is non-binary. Ah, okay. Meal. Is Meal their name? Like Rue is like your name? Do you mean Meal? Name themselves? Do you mean Meal name themselves? Yes. That's it. We walk along in silence as I try to puzzle this out, turning out of Fiona's road and down the street towards the river. A bunch of kids are hanging around. Daisy's takeaway, eating chips with gloves on. It's a strange sight. Meal. Who is Meal? Are they in a relationship or is it just a band thing? Are they both in some kind of gender queer club that I will never be part of? Rue stops and turns to look at me. I know what you want to ask me, he says, and he answers is, I don't know. Okay, I replied. I don't really know how it works. Non-binary people. Yeah, I say, nervous. So, is it like being trans? You were born in a wrong body? It's not about being born in a wrong body, I think. It's just like an easy thing to say for people who don't really get it. I feel a moment of shame at being someone who apparently doesn't really get it. Can you explain it to me then, please? I'm not sure. I feel like. He stands still and closes his eyes. A pinball machine. Right. We turn onto the riverbank. It's quiet. The sky turning purple. I miss the sun. I look at the snow under my feet. It's not the pure white mount of sugar crystals it was this morning. Hundreds of school kids and commuters have turned it into grey sludge. He's so much more Irish looking than me. The curly hair, the thick shoulders, the wire frame, the ruddiness in his skin, high in his cheekbones, scarlet to his ears. He's like an old drawing of some Celtic warrior, like I am this tiny metal ball that is just racing around a giant thing. Colliding with all these levers and bumpers and bits of machinery, except the bumpers are all labelled like dresses and naked women in canoe reefs. That's an Irish singer, I think. Canoe reefs, and each time I hit something, it proves of either one thing or another. He smiles then, clearly amusing himself with the metaphor, like on the days I hit the things a guy is supposed to like. It's like, oh wow, the guy side has won. But some days the girl side wins, and it feels weird, but I like it too. Am I making any sense to you? No, I say, dumbfounded that anyone could have thoughts this detailed about their gender. I mean, sorry. Yes, of course you are. I am just so impressed that you have this thesis on all this stuff that I just take for granted. Yes, I guess it's all feels natural to you. I'm jealous. He replies. Then he pauses, thinks about it. Except, actually, no, I don't think I am. I used to be, but the more I let myself just exist, the more fun it gets. So try not to question it or label it. I'm trying to just see everything as negotiable. Negotiable? Yeah, negotiable. We laugh nervously, turning over the weirdness of the word. Our laughter tapers off, and all I can hear is the lapping of the water where the river meets the low stone wall. I stare at him in awe that he could know so much about himself and at the same time be so comfortable in not knowing. He stares back. For once I'm determined not to break my eye contact, not to change the subject, to prove to him that I'm capable of understanding him, or at least looking like I do. I hold his gaze in mine, and when you imagine the pinball machine, I say, my words slow and deliberate, where am I, Rue? What do you mean? What side am I on? Am I a bumper, a lever, a tear? I tear my eyes away as he looks at me confused. Never mind, I say, certain I got the metaphor wrong. Maeve, you're not on the machine, he says, taking a step closer. Lately, he bows his head slightly, and I can see the space between the back of his neck and his school shirt, the leather string holding my rose quartz, just barely visible. Lately, you are due north. So Maeve is due north. And he kisses me softly. His lips are cold and full, like fresh blackberries in a white enamel cup. With the northern note, remember that, you are north, due north. So in other words, he means you're my northern note. I want you. I don't move. Part of me is convinced that this is yet another one of his jokes, that until his lips are firmly on mine, he is still likely to walk away and leave me gaping after him. He pulls back, checking my expression. For what? Disgust, discomfort, rejection, worry, flickers? across his face. I move closer to him and trace my finger gently upon his school jumper, to his collar, to the soft warm skin of his pale neck, and with one finger I loop the string of rose quartz and pull it out, the stone warm like a heart. I just remembered, I murmur, I just remembered what this one is supposed to mean. I pull the string, and the rose and rue follows. His mouth is on mine, his hands cupped around my face. I keep the stone tight in my palm, and I'm satisfied, despite all the many thousands of things I have yet to understand about Rue O'Callaghan, that I know exactly what he means by the pinball machine. Wow! It's getting romantic, and so also very psychological. I think that's a nice way of describing how you can feel being binary or being bisexual. So, well, I have heard and seen a lot of things in my life. I am a life coach, so I can understand that explanation of Rue. I think it's a very beautiful one and a very direct one and clear one. Talking about clarity. I hope you've enjoyed this chapter as well. See you in the next.